Good morning. My name is Alexandra Davis. When it came time to talk about, decide our speech topics, we were told to speak about something that we're passionate about. And I thought about it for a while, and then it came to me. Talk about the three most influential ladies in my life. My grandma Mary, my mom, and my dog Sassy. You're probably thinking, how is this something to be passionate about? And if you know me, you probably know that my family and I are extremely close and that I'm pretty obsessed with my dog Sassy. But the relationships I have with each one of them perfectly intertwine with one another. Aside from looking, as you can see, my grandma and I are practically twins. My mom will tell you that when she was expecting me, she knew I would look just like her mom, and she was right. A lot of people say I look a lot like my mom, but that is something I do not and never will see. But aside from looking alike, the three of us share basically the same personality. We're short, feisty, and always love a good laugh. And this brought up a very strong relationship between the three of us. It taught me how to enjoy the little things in life that you'll always find to be special and never forget. For example, I remember my sophomore year, the three of us all went on a road trip to go visit my brother at Ole Miss. And from the time that we left in the morning until the time that we got there late that night, my mom and my grandma had me in stitches. I was laughing so hard. And it wasn't really until this time in my life that I really started to appreciate the little things in life. And it's something that they try to remind me of when I'm becoming too serious. Work hard. I can always count on this advice from my parents and my grandma. Up until writing this speech, I really didn't know how hard my grandma and my mom have worked to get to where they are. When my great-grandma Catherine, that's my grandma's mom, was 16, she was forced to quit school because her father had died from pneumonia, and that caused her mom to have to go to work, and she needed help to raise her four younger sisters. So when my grandma was growing up, working hard was just something that was wired into her brain. Unfortunately, my grandma was unable to go to college, but she studied at a 2-year business school in Akron, Ohio. She would go to school during the day and then work at night, which meant that when my mom was growing up, not going to college wasn't an option. My mom and my aunt were going to go to college. And my grandma worked very hard to make sure that both of her daughters would receive a 4-year education that she was unable to attain. And if you know my mom, she has a pretty incredible work ethic too. I always brag about how she was a professional cheerleader. And one day when she was a senior in high school, she decided that she was going to try out for the St. Louis Cardinals, but that would now be known as the Rams. And she made it. I've never really told her this, but the way that she pursued her passion is something I've always wished I had the courage to do. It's pretty inspiring to me to have a mom and a grandma with amazing work ethics, and it's honestly something I don't tell them enough. One thing that my grandma and my mom both share is that they are both survivors of cancer. My grandma had breast cancer and my mom had lymphoma. My grandma had breast cancer before I was born, but the thought of not having her today in my life is unthinkable. When I was 14, my mom was diagnosed with lymphoma. When receiving her chemotherapy, a lymph node was attached to one of her intestines, and when the chemotherapy attacked and killed it, it fell off, taking a piece of her intestine with it. And this caused her body to go septic. Sepsis is a potentially life-threatening complication of an infection. Sepsis occurs when chemicals released in the bloodstream to fight the infection trigger inflammatory responses throughout the body. And this inflammation can trigger a cascade of events that can damage multiple organ systems, causing them to fail. And when all of this was happening, I kept asking my grandma and my dad what was going on, and they wouldn't tell me anything out of, scaring me. But my mom was in the ICU. Okay, that's terrifying enough. But at 14, I wasn't dumb, and I knew I wasn't allowed to know things or see things because my mom was actually dying. Having something like this happen in a person's life really gives them a new outlook on how precious it is and the precious it is and the relationships that we're blessed to have in it. And like I said, my grandma had breast cancer before I was born, and this helped my mom find strength. She kept saying to my grandma that she wanted to give up. And my grandma said, "No, you can't give up. You have Alex to raise still. You cannot quit." And without my grandma pushing my mom to get better, I really don't think that my mom would be here today. I don't think many people know how something like almost losing a parent helps you see life a different way, but it is extremely precious. And the relationships that you have in it are honestly, you're incredibly blessed to have. And every day I wake up and think of how much my mom and my grandma have gone through to become healthy. And we thank God every day for how healthy they are. To end on a lighter note, I'm now going to talk about the fiercest lady that has ever walked on 4 legs. Sassy Felicia Davis. Sassy came to us when I was 10 years old after the dog I had grown up with, Sparky, died. I came home and my mom said, "Stand there with your eyes closed." And when she said open, I could tell she was standing in front of something. And when she stepped aside, this beautiful Jack Russell came out from behind her, but she was really skittish. And it took her a while, but she finally opened up to us. It's kind of hard to think at one. She was rescued from the Humane Society, and that's when she came to us. But before that, she was found wandering on the streets, and it's kind of hard to think that this really slender Jack Russell was hungry at one point in her life, but she was. She's been through a lot. But you're probably thinking, how could this beautiful dog have an influence on your life? And when my mom came home from the hospital and was still sick for about 6 months, that ugly rat dog never, and I mean never, left my mom's side. She would just lay in bed with my mom and cuddled with her. Wherever my mom went, Sassy would follow. And that showed me the importance of companionship, which I not only share with Sassy, but I share with my grandma and my mom as well. They truly are my best friends and the only people in the world who I know will never judge me and support anything I choose to do in life. Like I said before, Sassy was really skittish, and it took her a while to open up to us. Obviously, Sassy escaped a life that was really bad. She came from an abusive home, and then she was rescued and then came to us. And opening up to people can be hard for anyone, but it teaches us who to trust in this world. And I'm a very lucky person to say that I not only can trust Sassy, but I can open up to my grandma and mom, and I love you all dearly. Thank you.